Hey everyone, welcome back. We are diving straight into a high-stakes explainer today, tackling one of the most critical yet somehow totally overlooked operational bottlenecks in modern healthcare. We're talking about the absolute chaos of hospital discharge, but more importantly, we're going to look at how a modernized logistical pipeline is completely redefining this last mile of patient care. Okay, right off the bat, I want to anchor a specific number in your mind, exactly $319. Why? Because that is the precise cost of margin lost every single hour a medically cleared patient just sits in a hospital bed waiting for transport. It's not just a minor inconvenience, right? It's a literal, bleeding financial loss that compounds minute by minute. Keep that $319 in your back pocket as we go through this. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the $319 hourly bottleneck. Then, the 7-to-1 ripple effect. Next, private land logistics, followed by defeating the readmission trap. Then we'll look at some cool hardware with the strapless body cam mount. And finally, exponential system ROI. Let's get into it. Section 1, the $319 hourly bottleneck. Let's start with the big picture here. We need to understand why hospital discharge is actually a massive operational execution, not just a simple clinical decision. Because the reality is, once a doctor says you're clear to go, the medical part, well, that's technically over. But the logistical nightmare, that's just getting started. Take a look at this. Once those discharge orders are written, your hospital's margin just drops off a cliff with every passing hour of wait time. You can see how the needle swings from optimal flow straight into critical margin loss. As those post-discharge wait hours tick up, profitability takes a complete nosedive. Bottom line, you literally cannot afford to have cleared patients occupying premium real estate. All right, Section 2, the 7-to-1 ripple effect. What's absolutely fascinating and terrifying about this delay is that it doesn't just impact that one single bed. No, it creates this massive internal cascade across the entire facility. We call this the 7-to-1 rule. Basically, moving just one discharged person out of the facility actually facilitates up to 7 other critical patient moves within the hospital ecosystem. So delaying a single exit literally stalls the kinetic energy of the entire building. It blocks everything from the emergency department intake all the way to the ICU step-down units. When you look at it mapped out like this, it's so clear. One medically cleared patient waiting for a ride acts like a giant dam. When the patient in the bed by the exit doesn't move, the pressure backs up everywhere. The step-down unit can't move patients out of the ICU, which means the ICU can't take critical patients from the ER. It's a chain reaction. Just one delayed transport ripples backwards and completely chokes the flow of the entire hospital. Moving on to Section 3, private lane logistics. Look, to break this gridlock, we absolutely have to rethink how patients actually move. We've got to ditch this outdated, chaotic, multi-vendor ecosystem that hospitals have been dragging along for decades. Because right now, this is what standard transport looks like. Pure friction. The nurse finishes the chart, hands it off to a case manager. But wait, these care managers are juggling insane 50 to 2-to-1 patient ratios. And we're forcing them to act like dispatchers from the 1990s. They're playing phone tag, flipping through Molodexes, leaving voicemails, navigating crazy payer forms. It creates massive bottlenecks and what we call blind waiting. Sure, a vendor accepts the ride, but nobody actually knows when they're going to show up. And guess what? The patient's anxiety just goes through the roof. So let's contrast that broken setup. On one side, standard non-emergency medical transport. It's basically a transactional, manual, curb-to-curb taxi service. They just move a body. But on the flip side, the DischaRge ConcieRge model, that is a total paradigm shift. We're talking about an automated, bed-to-living room, private lane. It doesn't just give someone a ride. It actively secures the patient, guarantees home readiness, and ensures absolutely zero delay throughput. By completely bypassing that multi-vendor gridlock, this automated dispatch pipeline creates a dedicated private lane right over the top of the chaos. It gives hospitals guaranteed capacity and real-time visibility. Imagine being a nurse on the floor and seeing exactly where the transport is on a sleek dashboard. No more guessing, no more phone tag. It drastically cuts down patient anxiety and creates a seamless automated flow. Okay, Section 4, defeating the readmission trap. Because let's be real, getting the patient out the door, that's only half the battle. Defeating the readmission trap is where the true clinical value really shines. Getting them home means nothing if they just bounce right back into the ER a week later, right? Making sure they stay healthy at home is absolutely crucial to protecting clinical outcomes. It's vital that we address the exact gaps driving that massive 18% Medicare readmission rate. And this lays it out perfectly. Look at how these specific concierge-level interventions neutralize root causes. Patient might not take their meds. The concierge service retrieves the prescription and brings it direct to door. Trip and fall hazards, the logistics team actually goes in, clears the home pathway, and delivers the walker before the patient even walks in. They'll even stock the fridge with essentials to prevent dehydration and recover left-behind stuff like phone chargers to lower that severe transition anxiety. Think about it. Sending a vulnerable patient to an unheated home with an empty fridge and rugs they can trip over, that is a guaranteed failure. It's a readmission waiting to happen. But the concierge standard completely flips the script by securing the environment before the patient ever crosses the threshold. This logistical legwork happens parallel to the transport itself. I mean, it's just a total game changer for recovery. Which brings us to Section 5, the strapless body cam mount. Now, a logistics system of this scale is really only as good as the accountability of the agents out there on the ground. I mean, how do you actually verify that the pathway was cleared, or that the fridge was stocked, or that the patient was safely transferred? That leads us to a massive operational question. How do we actually guarantee compliance and visibility out in the field? And more specifically, how do we get perfect, stable verification footage of these in-home transitions without forcing field agents to wear those bulky, militaristic chest harnesses that they absolutely hate?
Well, the answer is this brilliant proprietary hardware invention, the strapless sandwich mount. It uses this through-clothing magnetic matrix to mathematically kill rotational sway, basically turning any standard smartphone into a pro-level body cam. It totally ditches the harness. Instead, it uses a slim inner anchor plate worn inside the shirt, connecting to a flush magnet array on the outside. Plus, it has elastic sidewalls to fit literally any phone, a wide cutout so the camera doesn't overheat, and a really slick flapless entry. It's incredibly professional and just dead simple for agents to use. And when you pair that physical mount with the enterprise software architecture, it is pure magic. Using 50-foot precision geofence telemetry, the system automatically triggers a Bluetooth command to start recording the second the logistics agent crosses the perimeter. It captures the exact interior safety transfer with literally zero manual effort from the agent. Perfect compliance, completely frictionless. How cool is that? All right, bringing it all home with Section 6, exponential system ROI. All of this amazing efficiency, unblocking the beds, doing the home preparation, the automated compliance, what does that actually mean for the hospital's bottom line? First off, it completely rescues your staff. This automation drastically shifts the burden off your clinical team. Before, case managers were wasting 60% of their day on logistics, playing phone tag, filling out pair forms. After implementing this automated dispatch, they spend 90% of their time actually providing direct patient care and planning. You're taking them from being burnt-out dispatchers and letting them be the care managers they were literally trained to be. And that leads us to the final economic synthesis. The math here is really straightforward. By saving an average of 45 administrative minutes per instance, you are reclaiming that $319 an hour we talked about at the very beginning of this explainer. Add to that the huge financial upside of avoiding those 30-day readmission penalties from CMS, and you get an exponential system ROI. This premium private lane effectively pays for itself entirely simply by stopping the financial bleeding at the exit door. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder today. The cost of standard transport is the delay it creates. When you really factor in the gridlock, the staff burnout, and those devastating readmissions, doing things the old way is genuinely the most expensive choice a hospital can make. So when will your facilities stop treating discharge as a chaotic afterthought and finally engineer it as a continuous, protected flow state? Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. I'll see you next time as we continue unpacking the operational blueprints that are literally changing the world.